If you can go to the channel, please. Connecting streaming software. Apparently, I'm live.
Okay, your videos are back.
Okay. Am I live?
1 second. Not yet, no. Oh wait, yes you are.
Okay, what's the title coming up as? Because I don't know what the hell is going on with this. YouTube is so gay with its software, and okay, I guess we're live. Let me just go to. Did it update the description and the title, or is it coming off to like the?
Multi-streaming with Restream
See?
IO. It's got.
Yeah, it's not updating the title. Oh Christ. Let me update this. Shit. Oh God. Give me a second, folks. Boomer moment. Dislikes disabled. Why am I dislikes disabled? What the fuck? Not that I want dislikes, but
YouTube did that a few months ago.
No.
Because people are getting their no, it's YouTube.
no, I
Because
know
people are getting their
it's
hit.
YouTube. What I'm saying is, I've never seen it disabled. Like I have that software. So what the hell did we call this? Okay, we called it Race to the Bottom, obviously. All right. Just before you share it, so we get the proper title. It's over. Question mark. And is Matt Christiansen serious? Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. Will be updated post show. I'm not going to spend too much time on it now. I already put in the description before. Oh, gotta love YouTube and their YouTube studio. It just says it's connecting and connecting. Now when I want to add a tag, obviously we want to add Matt Christiansen. Truckers, honk. What do we say? Commerce. I will fill out the tags later. So we'll save this. All right. So, all right. The truckers. Like everybody's talking about the truckers. Have you noticed a flurry of these YouTubers that came out of the woodwork? Joe Hayes, Julie Mora. I'm surprised Frank Vaughn hasn't come out. But have you?
So are we live?
Yeah, we're live. We're live. Yeah, we've been live for a while. I just been updating the title. Come on, man, get with it, boomer. Jesus Christ. Fuck. All right. Back to our regular scheduled programming. While we were having some technical difficulties, it was pretty much due to YouTube and just trying to set out the the title because I had pre-filled this. And for some reason, I don't know why, but my OBS is not connecting when I do the go to live feature through YouTube Studio. It's just giving me the generic title, Restream with IO, because I use Restream on DLive. Like it matters. No one watches DLive anymore anyway. But yeah, so I was the truckers, right? Have you noticed that a lot of these YouTubers are just coming out of the woodwork?
I do. Yeah, people I thought who were left the scene.
Yeah, like you remember Joe Hayes, right? Like the guy who voted for the Liberals, and then he had a revelation, and then he was pushing for the CPC, and then he had another revelation, and he was pushing for the PPC, and then he had another revelation where he was denouncing the PPC, and then he had another revelation to I don't know what. Like, what, that guy's all over the place. I'm sorry, I bear no ill feelings for that guy. I don't fucking know him. He's probably a nice guy, like from the brief back and forth we've had, but holy shit, that guy's just like, what are they doing? So let me bring up Joe Hayes, and he just comes on and everybody's milking it. Everybody is trying to milk the truckers. That's why I didn't come on. I wanted to leave it alone. Let them have their moment, support them, obviously through these funds, and we'll talk about that. Let's see if I can bring up one of his videos. And same with Julie Mora. And we know that they all seem to be connected through one person. And we'll play Matt Christiansen's clip, because I don't know. I look, I love Americans, right? Let me just put that caveat first. But honestly, Americans are very good about knowing about America. Anything that's not America, they're fucking retards. and frankly speaking, I mean, if you were to watch Mark Dice's Man on the Street, Americans know very little but about America as well. So, I mean, we tend to have a good scope of knowledge. Okay, I'm having some trouble. Let me just go to YouTube, maybe because I'm in my YouTube studio. Let me just bring up YouTube, and I'll bring up Joe Hayes's wonderful videos. And there we go. Everything seems to be updated. Mersh is live. Don't want to be competing with that guy. That guy's a powerhouse, man. Everything he's called out has been spot on, including Matt Christiansen once. All right. So let's watch Joe Hayes, because he's awesome. Oh, okay. He calls himself something different. Before it was Joseph, then it was Joe Hayes, then now it's Joe Hazelton. That guy is really shifty. All right, so let's go through his videos. Can you see the screen? Do I need to share? Probably need to share, right?
Yeah, I can't see it.
Can't see it. All right. Here we go. Look at all these streamcasts. So he has one 5 hours ago, 1 day ago, 3 days ago, 3 days ago. It's just, and then this shit started a week ago. He came out of the woodwork exactly when the fucking Freedom Convoy started. But a year ago, he doesn't have anything. And just to point out, his videos were privatized because maybe he didn't want people to know that he's a bigger flip-flopper than Chrétien was, or Harper, or any other of those people. Like, if you can't make up your mind 3 times, I have to question your ability for reading the game. You have any thoughts about this, or are you going to remain impartial? But
I don't really see anyone worth voting for, so it's I'm actually kind of a little more understanding if people say screw it.
No, absolutely, but you should have gotten to that point in your mid-30s already, because you would have seen a couple of decades at least of the shenanigans in our political system, right? You should have seen that. If you don't, then I have some serious concerns about your ability for critical thought. I came to the realization that politics is a bullshit game and it's not meant for us, right? But let's check in on the, and then obviously Julie Mora. She's back in on the game as well. Is it Julia Mora or Julie Mora? All right, she's harder to find. Maybe you can find it there and send it to me, because I can't seem to find her videos now for some reason. Julie Mora? Maybe it's Julie. Julie Mora? There she is. There she is, the queen of BJ Dictor. 3 days ago, 7 days ago, Minority Fringe stream, reaching picture. So she's not too heavy into it, but yeah. When this other YouTuber that's also well known in these circles kind of suggested that BJ Dictor had approached these individuals, including Joe Hayes, and we didn't get any other details where they said they didn't want to be a part of it. Also, I understand that Frank Vaughn was approached as well. But it's really interesting that these people just come out of nowhere. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, by the way, Canuck, did you post the link to our show?
Yeah, I posted it. It's Twitter, Telegram, and on my Gap.
Okay, cool. Let's go to truckers. Let's see how they're doing. Truckers. This guy Vidstorm's all over the place.
They're having trucker church, you guys.
So, from what I understand, by the way, I'm going to just turn this down and make this bigger. So, there are a lot of players in this. What the fuck is this guy doing, man? Like, does he. Goddamn boomers. Anyway, look at this. I'm just going to have to take an earlier. All right, there we go. Ottawa Walks is probably better. So there's a lot of players engaged in this event. And I understand that there has to be coordination. So you obviously need a coordinator and someone kind of making like key decisions for the rest of the group. Totally understand. But there's been so much malarkey going on and who's running it. So there were videos. Are you familiar with Pat King? Do you know who that guy is?
Oh, I know who he is. He saved Alberta back in early August.
Oh, right. That's right. He went to court and he won, and all the COVID rules got broken.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I mean, it turns out he lost everything, but
Yeah.
he saved Alberta.
but
by
don't worry.
losing-
He said it's all good. It's all good. Don't worry, guys. It's all good. Oh, hold on. Wait a sec. Isn't his girlfriend like have like a 300 IQ?
I think she's like 195 or something, like some
Okay.
insane amount.
Okay. Yeah. What's her name again?
Kelly Wolf, I think.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Right. The one. If you have videos, because like that's why we don't have Andy tonight, because Andy has moronic. Don't worry, you'll be fine. So you have Pat King who made some videos. Like, as you guys should know, Pat King. I don't have to give like a huge summary about him, but he's the guy that bragged about breaking the COVID rules in a court case, and then when people were starting to discover that wasn't the case, he was even interviewed by Dan Dixon, right? And sorry, go ahead.
Isn't it Dan Dix?
Sorry, Dan Dix. My apologies. Yeah, he was interviewed by Dan Dix, and Dan kept asking, like, so what happened? Did you actually win? And Pat King was being aloof about all of it. It just wouldn't. And even Dan was just kind of scratching his head, like, okay, I don't understand, but can you elaborate what you meant? Well, it wasn't really what I said. It was like more like what, like it was kind of, well, hold on, let me and it was just hilarious watching him like skate uphill. And then So he made an announcement through a video, right, that he's the organizer. And then we get a video with BJ Dichter, right? And BJ Dichter, who, along with Tamara Leach, said they're the organizers of this convoy, and obviously we know about the whatchamacallit, the GoFundMe, blah 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 blah. And it's weird because, and we'll get into BJ's past a little bit, because this is a very this is a character that there's a lot of unknowns to, and I don't like gaps in information, because I think it's important to know the character and their past. I mean, especially when you're going to be public like this and dealing with huge sums of money. So I'm just going to turn this down, probably because it's annoying everybody, right? But we can kind of just turn it up a little bit. So he came out and made a statement on a video, and I have it captured somewhere, where he said that there are other individuals that are claiming that they're organizers of this convoy, and he doesn't. Please ignore them. They're white nationalists. Blah 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 blah. Which I think they were referring to Pat King, right? So, in the views of optics to normies, obviously people are going to be saying, what the fuck is going on? Who's really running the show? Because you got these different characters who are coming out and they're saying, no, we're the organizers. Don't listen to that person, right? So, and then there's all these YouTubers engaged in shit. And I'll agree. I'll play Angry Alberta's video there, because there's a specific thing that I want to tackle there. And I think he's being either disingenuous or dangerously obfuscating the issues that this country's facing. But like he said, let's not bring in these grifters. This is about the truckers, and these people are doing us a big fucking solid. I support these guys wholeheartedly. I don't support the GoFundMe. What happened to the GoFundMe in terms of them trying to kibosh it is definitely immoral. And, I would say, I would question the legality. But you tell me, Canuck, I think it was for the better. Because based on discussions on Talk Radio 1010, they even brought that up. They're like, some of this portion of the money could be going to support parties. You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think, I think it's like, what, 10.2 billion when GoFundMe pulled the plug on it. It's like, yeah, like, I have a lot of questions where exactly it would end up. Would any of it disappear? Would the full amount be given, or even, as you and Andy brought up, how would you even allot it properly?
Oh, I should bring up that spreadsheet. So let me put a pause to this wonderful capture of, the goons here, these guys. I'll bring up this spreadsheet. So, can you see the screen? Let me make this bigger, because maybe the numbers are smaller. All right. Can you see this screen?
Yeah, I can see it. That's
okay.
better.
All right. I guess I have to make these tables bigger. Okay. All right. So what Andy and I did, and I was hoping that Andy could present this because we worked on it together. So we surmised based on, when the GoFundMe was live, we had about $10 million. So what we did is we tried, because, him having a background in this type of work, he knows how many liters a truck would have and stuff like this. So we kind of, we did the travel distance, and what we did here is basically whereabouts they're coming from, right? So if it's from BC, it's from Delta, Alberta, it's Calgary, Saskatchewan, Regina, Manitoba, Winnipeg, and Ontario, about the 401 junction. We then calculated the distances and the liters used at 6 miles per gallon, 8 miles per gallon, 10 miles per gallon. basically on the speeds that these people are traveling at. So, and then we tried to get the diesel rates, right? So we've kind of averaged it out to 1.48. And then we, I was hearing numbers. I don't know what you think, Canuck, but they were like saying 50,000 trucks. I don't know. I don't think 50,000 trucks can fit into Ottawa.
Where would you put them though?
Right. So we decided to estimate about 15,000 trucks, which, by the way, even at 2,000 trucks, that's huge. That shuts a hole. I'll tell you, when I used to travel to work a long time ago, 407, if anybody knows, you have to pay for it. So I don't pay for it. And there's a specific road that has 6 lanes, right? 3 each. And the rigs use it because they don't want to pay for the 407 costs, thanks to the Conservatives. It's one of the most expensive highways in the world. And before they sold it to a consortium, and SNC Lavalin, by the way, who built it, so you gave them the tax money to build it, and then they're making money off of you using it, along with the teachers' unions and all of this other shit. Like, it was like if you want to talk about a con fuck job, that's a real good one. Get your asshole open, get a lot of lube, because that was the best one ever for Ontario. A lot of people were expecting a northern gateway for a highway to relieve the stress off of 401. I can get into that. I'm not going to get into it anymore, but that's like, so like 3 lanes, 3 rigs, it fucking clogs it up. But 2,000 will do a good number. Anyways, so what we did is we said, okay, let's say the high is around 15,000 trucks, mid 7.3 low, and we averaged it out to 8,300 trucks, right? The next thing is then we would take what each trucker would get from the released amount and then what each trucker gets from the full amount. Now, I may have made mistakes here. I just did this on the quick. So let's say we change this number. They said they were going to release. They said, remember? They said they had 1 million released. Right?
Yeah, I think they announced that a couple of days before GoFundMe pulled it.
Right. So this kind of automatically works. It'll take from the average and the average diesel rates. And then, for example, if they released 1 million, and I'll get to the specifics why this is so fucked up. And I feel bad for the truckers. I think that they should have their gas covered. This is one way, by the way. And we didn't even use meals. So each trucker gets from what's released $120. So let's say here's your numbers. This is in brackets. So this is what they're lacking. So obviously, this is what it would cost per trip based on how fast they're going and the usage of the fuel. So if 1 million was released, each trucker out of 8,300 would get $120. Now, factor in 50,000, and basically they're getting a coffee, right?
It's not much at all when it's all factored in.
And this is based off your standard submission of the truckers might get a paperwork and they would do a submission for their expenses. And for example, if I had to travel, I would be able to expense up to 15% of my travel, but we're assuming here full, right? And again, this is only one way and not factoring meals expenses. And remember, these guys are refueling every 3 days. Because I think Andy said there are about 600 liters, 800 liters in those tanks. So those jerry cans are not helping much. It's desperation because, once they were leaving, they were probably doing as one truck would go to refuel, another one would take its place. So they were doing a loop. And what was happening is they were cutting off, when the truck would leave, they would cut off the re-entry. So that's why the jerry cans, and it's kind of funny because a jerry can is at most 25 liters. And I can tell you right now, it takes 3.5 or a quarter to fill my car. So I mean, you're it's like it's desperation at this point, right? But anyway, I just want to show you the shortfalls. Now, how do you account from a guy who's traveled, let's say, from BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, than guys who have come like from Manitoba or worse, Ontario? Because if you're released 1 million, and the guys, let's say, at the worst gas efficiency, he's spent $105. That's not too bad. He's only out $105. You covered half his cost. But basically, you didn't cover anything from the prairie provinces. And then if he's more, a little bit driving a little bit faster, using some better gas efficiency, then he's gaining, like, he's only out of his pocket for $15. So you see what's happening here. And then if we say, if you were to release 10 million on the go, each trucker would get $1,200. And obviously, if we change this figure, obviously, let's say 4 million was released, these figures would change. Obviously, if the more that gets released, if we were doing this like as a peanut butter spread, obviously these guys stand to gain. And you could see that these prairie boys and even Manitoba are just left out in the wind, right? Now, the better way to do this would be by percentages, right? What is the percentage of travel from BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan to Ontario versus Manitoba and Ontario, right? So then do the average of those two, you would get a little bit better of a spread. But what I'm trying to point out here is there is no documentation to stipulate how this money is going to be distributed, isn't there?
No, as far as I know, there's no guidelines or anything. It's just, well, a GoFundMe. Oh, well, fund you. Okay. Can you give me more, please?
Right. There's no governing charter on how these expenses would be dispersed. These monies would be dispersed as expenses. This doesn't cover shit. And yes, $10 million is a huge amount of money. But when you factor how many truckers came, and we're only using a low number, we're not even, if we put in 50,000 truckers, if I change this number to 50,000, as they said, that's what everybody's getting. $80 from 4 million released. 200.
Yeah, definitely a lot of questions. And
so first off, there's no documentation behind this. This was just, willy-nilly put together. Secondly, we have some questions about these people who have been involved with YouTubers in the past. Yes. And I'll bring that up in a second, or maybe you can send the links. Obviously, there's the GoFundMe for Tom Quiggin. There's the GoFundMe for One Godless Woman. Both of these individuals real hard against Muslims. Now, I don't begrudge the Chinese, the Indians, the Muslims, and whoever else. I just want my place on this small rock, and you guys have your own place. Technically, I wouldn't even call it white nationalism. I would call it. I think we should come up with another name. I would call it kind of white identitarianism, because the Chinese are so proud of themselves and extremely jingoistic. If you heard the shit that comes out of their mouth about Filipinos, like, it's incredible. They treat them like dogs in Hong Kong because they feel that they're superior. And then there is a caste system, by the way, in China. There is a caste system. The cities versus the rural areas. They treat them like shit. And same in India. There's a caste system. And even though the British left, they still perpetuate it. Then you have the religious factions and God knows what else. So don't, like, you know, when someone calls you racism, what are you really saying? You're racist. So races don't exist? That's right. They don't. Wait a minute. No, I'm black and you're white and racism and you're racist. So you're recognizing that there is a difference between me and you. Well, no. Well, yes. Do you see how, like, the logic breaks the moment you throw in the mechanics of the language? Anyway. But go ahead.
Since we're mentioning the convoys, and I'm hoping I'm not stealing your thunder on this. There's one of the organizers is Tamara Leach. Used to be like a high-ranking Maverick Party official.
Yeah, let me bring that up.
Kind of funny for all you Westerners to think, oh, vote Maverick, they're going to save us. Guys, have you actually read Maverick's platform, what they believe or don't really
Can I
believe?
read it? Can I read it?
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. No, okay, all right. Stop being like a kid. All right. Let me get my best voice on. Guys, I can't wait to get my Stream Deck going on the next stream. I'm just so excited about it. I just want to mention it again because I'll have stuff like every goddamn time or brought to you by Toxikill. And, you know, Canuck and I will play with it a little bit. So anyway, Maverick Party COVID-19 statement. The Maverick Party, i.e. the former, what's it, the Red Rose Party? Was it the Red Rose Party?
It was the
Red Rose
no, it used
Party.
to be the Wexit.
Oh, the Wexit?
Wexit.
Wexit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they're not being bamboozled like the poor schmucks in UK with their Brexit. Sure worked for them. All right. Hold on. Let me just go back and mute the tooting here. Toot toot. I support you guys. All right. So the Maverick Party believes that Prime Minister Trudeau and his government has mishandled Canada's approach to dealing with COVID-19 from the beginning. I wouldn't really call it mishandling. That's already suspect there. The Maverick Party has been critical of this failure in the past, and our criticism will undoubtedly continue in the future. However, the Maverick Party will not be forced to become involved in the ongoing emotional debate over restrictions. What? Imposed by the premiers of different provinces versus infringement of citizens' rights or freedoms. The Maverick is a federal party. Many Canadians in the various provinces across Canada have taken it upon themselves to speak out against the imposed restrictions, as in their freedom to do so. Canadians from coast to coast have the right to speak out, rally, and protest if they so choose. However, governments also have the responsibility of protecting their citizens and must weigh that responsibility carefully. The restrictions and or lockdowns decreed and enforced are done provincially, province by province. As previously stated, Maverick is a federal party. It would be
Get it, guys? They don't get it, guys. They don't care.
They don't
Maverick
give a shit.
Truly doesn't care. It's written
They
right in
don't
their own
give a
party.
shit. All right, here we go. Sir, go ahead.
And it's kind of funny. You read between the lines. That's we object to Trudeau or O'Toole or Jagmeet Singh, taking away our freedoms. But if Jason Kenney or Scott Moe want to do it, hey, so be it.
Yeah, because, Brexit. Yay. Fuck. Unbelievable. Goddamn normies. Okay, here we go. This is the real critical part. It would be highly hypocritical for the Maverick Party to criticize the federal government for encroaching into provincial jurisdiction with their carbon tax, among many other issues, and then turn around and impose ourselves into provincial jurisdiction over healthcare restrictions and lockdowns. See, this party is just about oil. It's about big oil, big corpos. China. because they're engaged in those provinces in the oil industry.
Yeah. Oh, and Maverick is enthusiastically pro-immigration.
Oh, yeah.
They actually they tone it down a bit, but there's written several times in there. They buy the whole diversity is our strength thing. They're not as gung ho as Trudeau, but they're absolutely pro open borders.
Yeah, it's extremely misleading and how these people approach it, right? That's why you gotta really read between the lines and start asking deeper questions. So they are not opposed as you think they are. This is, again, grifting. Do you understand grifting? The PPC, Mr. Bernier, and he, by the way, I just need to address old white guy because I don't know what his problem is. But yeah, I voted for the PPC because I said, okay, I'm going to vote just once again. And this was the second time that I ever voted. Sorry, third in my lifetime. And I'm fairly old. This is the third time I said, okay, I'm going to vote for this moron. And I've always stated all of his failures. I've always highlighted that. And I always said I didn't trust the guy, but I'm going to vote for this one time because he's the only asshole out there that speaks against immigration, which is my number one issue, along with guys like Vincent of the Red Elephants and some others. That's a major problem to the West.
Can I do Libertarian Party now?
Please,
they're actually worse.
Yeah. Do they believe in borders? No. As long as everybody has their own property. But then how do you know what's your property if there's no borders?
Yeah. Oh, their thing on vaccine mandates is even more hilarious. Can I share that?
Go ahead. But can I finish this before and then we'll go?
Go ahead.
So, I think it was somewhere here. Did I miss it? I think in summary, right here. So in summary, the Maverick Party believes Canadians still have choices. They can choose to social distance or not. You see, there's a danger in that because now we've split society in half. Yes, do I believe people have choices 100%, right? If you choose to be wacky, fine with you. But when it starts to infringe or starts to segment our society, and we've seen that, and I'll play a clip of it, that lunatic girl who was crying about the honking and says, "You've taken my freedoms away, you don't understand," and so completely disconnected that the last 2 years was 100% result of her being on Xanax probably and a bottle of vodka and hugging her pillow and smothering her cat was due to the government and the whole Global Compact 2030, because it's all connected, right? Anyway, so basically here they say it's your choice. They can choose to wear a mask or not. They can choose to be vaccinated. And, by the way, don't even think about it, YouTube, about trying to take this down for misinformation, because you know what? The information's changed, and I will challenge it this time. Or not. So if you read the documents that are coming out, even from CDC right now, do you really want to be saying that? However, governments are elected to take whatever action they feel appropriate in these areas. So they don't care. What are they there for? Anyways, let's talk about the Libertarian Party. Go ahead. I'll close this off.
Wait. 1 second, I have to find it again.
Jeez, I set you up. Oh, all right.
Okay.
I'll do a little.
Is it showing up now?
Yeah. Hold on. Jeez. Now, yeah. Give me a sec. I'll bring it over. Here we go. Go ahead.
Okay. The Libertarian Party of Canada strongly opposes any form of government coercion regarding vaccines or any government interferes in the affairs of private companies in that regard or any other for that matter. Okay, so far I agree. However, the party is a defender of private property rights and acknowledges that private companies ought to be able to set whatever rules they wish in running their affairs. In a free society, the likely outcome would be that some companies would require some of their employees to be vaccinated while others wouldn't. thus giving employees a choice. In the retail sectors, we could easily see companies setting up different hours for vaccinated and unvaccinated people if they so wished. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Another
Nope.
alternative that many companies might employ is simply asking for negative rapid tests. Unlike other parties, we believe a truly free market would allow entrepreneurs to find solutions that would accommodate the most people. Yeah, the Libertarians' platform on vaccine passports, let the free market decide.
Yeah. Well,
We've cut you
basically,
off
that's
from
what they're doing today. Yeah.
Yeah, we've cut you off from society. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't go so many business. You can't go to a stadium or arena or anything.
Fuck it. You can't go to the
schools, none of-
gym. You're not allowed to
Yeah,
go to the gym.
Yeah. But you know what? Screw liberty. Let's let the free market decide. And by the way, we're subsidizing businesses to do it. So, the
God,
free market.
These Ayn Rand retards. I'm telling you, man, the right just mimics the left. It's like it's a fucking mirror image.
Yeah. And I've covered this issue many times on the site. It's every company, every industry you can think of, pretty much everyone's getting subsidized, whether it's the wage subsidy, the rental subsidy, direct handouts from Ottawa, provincial transfers.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
So don't go beyond the program.
Yeah.
But we'll get into
So
it. Yeah.
Libertarians, let the free market decide.
Yeah. Well, that's the shilsters. Speaking of shilsters. So we already talked about Tamara Leach, right? And question. There's some. I'll play a few things, but BJ Dichter. Do you know who BJ Dichter is?
Well, apparently the gay conservative movement knows all about him.
Good old BJ Dichter. So let's look up BJ Dichter, the founder of LGBT Tory. So we've played this video. I think it's on. If we can play it, but I don't think we need to now. But he was at the PPC rally. Proudly saying he's an LGBT conservative, and everybody's there going, or. What are you conserving? What are you dumbass conservatives conserving? Because with the institution of all this, like this, let me just read this. The day I became a proud gay conservative. By the way, where you choose to stuff your sausage or fudge packet in a way, so to speak, it's nothing proud to be that. I mean, even if you were to procreate, what is there to be proud of? Because I think 99% of the animals on this planet do that. I don't see a tiger going, yeah, like I am pregnant like 5 females today. I feel proud. This pride's a sin, by the way. But anyways, I'm a naughty Christian. I shouldn't be saying that. So what are you conserving? What are you conserving? Anything?
I could answer that, but I'd probably be kicked off the internet.
Yeah, that's funny. Because you can't be a conservative anymore. So you just have to follow. So what's the difference between liberals and the Mavericks and the libertarian? They're all grifting. All of them.
Oh, they differ in the tax rate.
Oh, well, and the amount that they're going to get from, the UN, right? And what allowable STGs they have to do. That's what I'm saying. Voting is dumb. Anyway, I've mentioned this. People don't want to listen. Anyways, so this is interesting. So Ontario government begins public consultations on curriculum. If anybody has any issues with critical race theory, which stems from this, by the way, you will see this. And by the way, I'll play a video with BJ Dichter, and he calls out white nationalists and racists and stuff like this. So I can't have an issue with this, by the way. I don't want this being taught to kids. And if we, maybe we want to mention, Canuck, that the sexual curriculum was Done by who?
Oh, Ben Levin, who's totally didn't get like 3 years in jail or anything for like naughty stuff.
Pedophilia, right?
I think a possession of a certain type of
Right.
material.
Right. Well, not pedophilia. Sorry. Possession of material like that.
Yes.
We got to be accurate, right? But yeah, that's who the curriculum was done under. Famous LGBT lady, Kathleen Wynne. Do you see what I mean? It permeates through everything. So this guy wants to introduce this, like, here's a good one. Everything's about gay, the hidden gay history of the Yukon, home to one of the most remote prides. And I'm telling you how bad this is getting, because homosexuals were usually about 3-5% of the population. It's exploded. I wonder if these real gay people think that when everybody's gay, no one's going to have kids, right? Like, are we expecting to repopulate through tubes, like in the Matrix?
No,
like
we should just import a replacement population that will stone the gays.
Oh, that's right. And
that's
the Muslim shot put games, right?
Yeah.
So there's a story. My daughter's friend, the kid's pretty young, right? And the kid said the boy came to the girl and he really likes her. Then he announced he's a bisexual. I wonder where these ideas come from. Of course, the girl was like, "Oh, that's really going to endear a woman." Or they're just kids. They shouldn't even be talking shit like that. But anyway, so they have here our gay like again, for the Americans, why our gay international military wedding is the new normal. This is conservatism. This is what America First kind of blew up because of what was that the other organization?
TPUSA.
TPUSA, right? Because that's what they're pushing. This is, guys, like, I want to point something else out too, but that's your boy. Oh, by the way, I just want to bring this to attention. Michelle Rambo. Conservatism. Yeah. Look at this. Conservative MP Michelle Rambo quotes RuPaul. Guys, they're conservative. Like, they wanna bring in the gay. The LGBT rights Rempel referenced involves expunging the records of people with historical offenses regarding gay sex. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau backs the expungement of Historical Unjust Convictions Act, which would purge records and convictions of the made against people under gay lines.
My understanding, a lot of those convictions would probably still be upheld today, because it wasn't just for being gay. There was, let's just say, other stuff involved.
Okay. So we're going to bring this up here.
I think that's her same picture on her World Economic Forum profile.
Yeah, she is a youth WEF member. Here she is with Mr. Morgaine Ogre. What an appropriate last name. The man. I'm just basing it on the science, right? Because I understand that he has a penis. So at best I can call you a crossdresser. But anyway, Mr. Morgaine formerly probably Morgan. Just stick an E at the end of the fucking name and then you get that. But Mr. Morgan is famously known as a deadbeat dad. I guess because, when he transitioned, he no longer has to pay for anything because he's not a guy, technically. So, yeah, deadbeat dad actually even had gone into the bank accounts and emptied it. And also got a priest, who had some concerns about his wanting to give hormone treatments to young children. That's Michelle Rampo, guys. That's your conservatives.
Oh, you should have seen Ogre's more recent efforts out in BC.
Do tell.
But you know the philosophy that once you've solved all your big problems, you only have the minor stuff to worry about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the more recent ventures goes essentially trying to go through the BC civil procedures and courts and all that, trying to remove gendered language in its entirety from like the courts. Whether it be like rules, forms, terms. Like it's like, really? Do you not have anything else to do? So instead of referring to, like, I think it's a justice of the peace as my lord or my lady, you wouldn't do that anymore. Or in family court, instead of being like a mother or father, it would just be parent.
See,
do you not have anything better to do with your time?
Okay. All right. I'm gonna get in trouble because, you know how I feel about that kind of shit, right?
Oh, as far as script, should we address the title now?
The what?
The title of the stream.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get there. But I want to show a little bit more about Mr. BJ Dichter. Here he is with Operation Killstream with Tom Quiggin, a former CSIS and RCMP intelligence expert. Why do we have a guy who's worked in intelligence?
Silly question. Did Quiggin ever leave, or is he still with the intelligence?
Well, that's the funny part. Is he? So, and I'm not going to touch upon this because, it is a very tricky subject, but this is Mazud. It's a Semite organization, and you can see here that, Tom Quiggin is on their top page. Also, C3RF is there as well. And then you can see, where's the... God, they had... I think they got a status from Elections Canada. They're able to fund candidates. And one of their candidates, they have I think there was a Conservative and there was a PPC candidate. Let me see if I can find it, because I believe Mr. Salim Mansour was there. Mansour. How do you spell his name? I don't know Indian.
MANSUR.
MANSUR. Yeah. I can't find him right now. Let's see, Mazud. Maybe if I just put Mazud. Oh, okay. I don't find him here. I know it's somewhere here, buried. Maybe media. Blog. Updates. Oh, could be under fellows. There he is. I knew he was here. By the way, this guy actually went out. He worked for a think tank in the U.S. making a claim that all of Palestine should go to Israel, which is like if the PPC was elected and he, God forsaken, he became the Minister of Foreign Affairs, statements like that are very dangerous. It's like, it's a powder keg, dude. What are you doing? But anyways, yeah. So they also have a conservative. So yeah, they were fronting things. So why are these guys engaged? Do you have the video? Because like I'm kind of, Andy would usually help me here, but do you have that video of MATT CHRISTIANSEN and PJ Dichter? No? Okay, I'll have to bring it.
I have it saved somewhere. It's like I have to find it.
I'll get it. I have to do all the work here.
Happy to not help.
Yeah. All right, where is the last? Matt and Blonde. Oh, here we go. Guest from. So let me premise this before we continue, because Matt Christiansen and Blonde are the, the premier conservative group, and I don't know. Like I said, Americans are like. If it has nothing to do with America, they're like Africans trying to figure out the wheel. No offense, Americans, but just saying, bros. So it's funny when this, I would call him right now a no-mind American, grifting, maybe he doesn't mean it. I don't know. But it just seems weird that you wouldn't even, like I was in the chat, they banned me because I kept saying, what about LGBT Tory? Like, what are you going to, and it just banned me out of it. So we know what kind of conservatives are. I also want to point out they voted for Obama. One of them voted twice. And didn't they have that transsexual on, so-called conservative? What was his name? Her, whatever. Fuck.
I think it's Blair White.
Blair White. Did they have her on?
Yeah, there's a stream. I think it was like a year or two ago. It's been a while.
And of course, they had that former Satanist, so-called, with the weird fucking wife, who basically just gives his like really shitty takes and no in-depth in-depth study about what's going on. He came on the show with makeup. Maybe it wasn't makeup, but he looked like goddamn makeup. What's his name? Fuck. I'm forgetting where my memory is going as I'm getting older. Anyways, that the Satanist guy I'm talking about with the long sticks. The name
escapes me.
Sticks, Six, and Hammer.
Oh, Sticks, Six, and Hammer.
Yes, well, whatever. Fuck. So I don't know why it's doing this. Let's try that guess again. There's Tamara Leach. Fuck. Let's play a little bit of Matt.
Fraud. What they're doing now.
By the way, I also want to mention that Mersch called this guy out on his like fence sitting. He sits on the fence so much it's probably ridden up right up between his balls and his fucking asshole. Where is he here? Here we go. And by the way, I was told in the chat this was pre-recorded, and BJ's been doing the rounds in America. So when Canadian government said that the GoFundMe is getting like funds, like it seems from foreign entities, this is not, if you guys know what the average fucking salary is in Canada, of course you would have to separate it from the prairies, from BC, like the Maritimes and Ontario and Quebec, because they vary. But the average, if you were to take it, some provinces bring it down and up, is about like $50K. And, that could be fine if you're living in the three major prairie provinces. But if you're living in BC, fuck, it's meaningless. It's fucking meaningless. Try to buy a house. Fuck. Try to buy a piece of bread in fucking BC and Ontario and Quebec. So it's not a lot, right? And, a lot of people have been unemployed. They're bringing in immigration and TFWs and whatnot. You'll see that as I'll present it. So this guy went on Fox News and claimed, he goes, I'm a trucker. Really? Are you? He lives downtown Toronto, full of condos, full of lefties. Do you know what those condos go for? And like I said, he hangs out with a former CSIS agent. Now I'm going to play a video where he pretends to actually question him, but he never announces who he is. And I found it odd. Then he pushes like the Tom Quiggin report. Like, it's just odd to me. And he's engaged in the conservative movement. He's engaged in the PPC movement. He's engaged with YouTubers who are apparently pushing the conservative, so-called soft conservative movement. It's all like obfuscation. It's all like acting as a fifth columnist. So he appears on Fox News. He says he's a trucker. He says he goes to the U.S. border, and he didn't even read his phone. It just knew that it knew who he was. Well, if these dingbats actually did any research and looked up at the NHS rules for entry into America from Canada, there are two ways you'd have to enter. One, through biometrics, which is a scan of your face. So if they have that in their system, they can do that. So what most likely happened, if he's not bullshitting about that, is it scanned his face, because he's been doing that before, and I'm assuming he has, and it pulls up his information in the system. Or that would probably pull up his vaccination status. Or he would actually have to show paperwork or the phone. I went through the NHS guidelines. It doesn't say anything but. So if anyone has any other information to say otherwise, fine, I will make a retraction. But that's bullshit. And like, as I said earlier in the video when we started the stream, we don't know who the fuck is running this. Is it Pat King? Is it him? Is it like there's a lot of grift going on, and the poor fucking truckers are like completely sidelined by this bullshit now with the GoFundMe and as I showed you, what are they getting? And there's a lawyer involved. What is the lawyer for? And obviously there's like $50,000 amounts, $100,000 amounts going in. You have to question it. And I can play the clip. Go to Talk Radio 1010. They talked about it, that this money could be possibly going to the conservatives or even the fucking PBC. How do you know? Because they're the ones in charge. They can distribute it however they like, legally, I think. So he goes on also on Steven Crowder. And then he goes on another Blaze TV. Well, the guy who owns like Blaze TV. What the fuck's his name now? I forgot. Glenn Beck. Yes. So he goes on Glenn Beck, says the same thing, and I'm wondering, how did he reach these two twats? These twats. How did they reach him? Like, did they reach out to him? I doubt it. I think, as he normally does, as he reaches out to all these people, by the way, like one godless woman, I'll bring it up, because people sometimes like, yeah, you're full of shit, here, again, he manages her. And it's always the heavy anti-Muslim shit. There you go. See? Am I lying?
It's not showing up.
Huh? Are you not seeing my screen? Am I not sharing? Oh, because, sorry, you got to let me know, right?
Okay.
Because you were sharing
it's coming on YouTube.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. So, by the way, I don't ever hear him rally against other Muslims in the government, right or left, it doesn't matter. That want to suppress speech, like the Motion 101, right? It seems like every group that we invite to the land of milk and honey seems to want to suppress the people of the land that welcome them. So now this clown is here, and I'm thinking, did he reach out to these people? Or how did this happen? And why is it pre-recorded? And these two twats who voted for Obama, by the way, Obama kind of, this kind of global 2030 was happening a while before. Sorry, Sanko said BJ never talks about the cons for some reason either. I think he has. Because obviously you could tell through the connections, right? Anyway, and I didn't even I softballed this, by the way. I didn't go through all the connections. I fucking softballed this. So he comes on this show. It's pre-recorded, and let's play it. And these two dum-dums, one of them voted for Obama twice. I think it was him, because they like Democrats, right? But all of a sudden, guys, they're conservative. Oh, and what's really funny, because in a closed meeting at the trucker site, which I'll play, he talks about racist people, white nationalists, as if it's. Can I be a Chinese nationalist? Can I be an Indian nationalist?
Totally. Here's some subsidies.
That's right. But no, in the way, I'm sorry, but to the natives or whatever. But honestly, the white people made this country. The Puritans from Britain, UK made this fucking country. Sorry to tell you, and don't be pushing that snowshoe shit, because the Europeans were climbing the fucking Himalayas, in fuck, what was it? Like even before 800 BC, and we didn't need fucking snowshoes, so don't even go there. Oh guys, we gotta give them snowshoes, or tennis rackets, fucking on your feet. Oh god. Anyway, so let's play a little bit about this. Just want to mention that she rallies hard against the whole UN LGBT diversity planning, because she has kids. Or child doesn't. There's another one on the way, and she's like smiling away. Remember, they brought on like Blair White, right? Who wanted to adopt a kid with their weird lifestyle.
Is
conservatives
to take early retirement, and community policing is about de-escalation, not escalating directly into conflict.
That's
so
right,
the fact
Don.
that he's
You
still
nod.
there is shocking. And
Twat.
you talk about a police force that is not behind their chief now. You can feel it in the air, and they're great. They're coming fist bumping, hanging out, whatever, and it's been just a great vibe the entire time. And the police seem quite relaxed. There's we haven't seen any, we saw zero incidents, and since the trucks came in, the report came out, crime has gone down.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's amazing.
Well, that's an obstacle for the narrative, I suppose.
Yeah.
Before we run out of time, I want to make sure that people are aware how they can support you.
Here we go.
If perhaps they've already donated to the GoFundMe and they get refunded, or if they haven't supported yet and they want to know how to do that now that GoFundMe has ended your relationship. What's the best way to do it?
Well, we switched over to Give, Send, Go, which is a competitor to Go.
By the way, they've already collected more than $500,000 in such a short time. I guess those foreign entities that were donating to further undermine Canadian politics, they can do a quick switch on a dime. How do you get up to more than... I'm talking Canadians. Like, I want to go down and give cash to the truckers. I'm just trying to figure out how I can give like 150, 200. Do I give like each trucker $50? Because it's better to do it that way, right? How did you get to more than $500,000 in like a couple of days? Anyways, watch these guys shill it. Watch them shill it hard. No, they don't talk about the LGBT story. They don't talk about all the other wonky connections. They just great shillsters. Either that or you're incredibly fucking ignorant, which you're just as guilty then to me.
GoFundMe, smaller operation. We know the CEO personally, and he set up the Give Send Go for us.
Great.
And immediately got brigaded with DoD attacks, and also the amount of donations well overloaded their server and bandwidth. So we got $1.5 million
Smile
so
blonde.
far in the first
Dope.
12 hours, I think it was, and that's all they could
Twat.
process.
Wow.
Because I couldn't get on the website for 7 hours. I would get an error every time just because it was so overloaded. And
You guys
then
are
at
an
the same
unsupported
time-
fringe minority, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the French
Well, we're not
minority,
black
the
diversity, like I
LGBT.
And the,
You support that, blonde?
We also have a large number
Fucking
of people. I mean, they see
twat.
on my profile, I put Bitcoin, and then in the Bitcoin space, by the way, buy Bitcoin, guys. So we had some people reaching out to me the entire week saying, hey, we're collecting Bitcoin for you. And not just one group, multiple groups. And one I just met today they're very established and well-known figures in the Bitcoin space. And so far, I think they set it up
Shit's
yesterday.
funny.
They set up the equivalent of GoFundMe.
Okay. So I won't go too much into the I can listen to it, but he
Sorry,
does.
can I say something here?
Yeah.
One Twitter account.
I just checked out Give Send Go. I just checked it. They're currently at 8.1 million.
Sorry.
In 4 days they pulled $8 million.
That's right, because those fucking G. He loves us, doesn't he? Eh?
Yeah.
Anything to undermine. These fifth columnists are fucking genius. I got to give it to them. Maybe I'm in the wrong field. Like, I have a strong sense of justice and fairness and morality. Maybe that's my detriment. Maybe I should just be a sellout like Matt. Look, that's a perfect freeze frame. Look at him. Duh. And look at blonde. Did you fuckers do any research? Because that's why I feel that this guy reached out to them and they're like, oh yeah, oh my God, we're going to get more. Look, when Mersh brought this spurg on to ROTC, he was spurging out so hard, he had to flex his subscribers. Mind you, ROTC, Mersh, they're a comedic group, but they have some good points. Mersh probably is the most level-headed, and he was spurging out, like flexing. I got 200,000 subscribers. I'm more important than you. And Mersh was laughing. It's like, dude, we have 400. We have 14,000 subscribers, but on ROTC we'll get like 2,000 people watching, and it's not only that channel, but we got the D Live, the D Live and some other streaming services, right? Twitch and maybe a couple others. And they got a lot of people watching, right? They have like a plan forward. They have, especially Mersh. And it's funny. What are you talking about? I'm a fence sitter. And they just didn't. They called him out so fucking appropriately. And here he is, like a dope. These two. It's like, okay, where are your principles? Blonde, where's your principle? I guess you do support your child going through, hormone therapy, because you'll come out of school and say, yeah, Mom, I cut off my wee-wee because, I'm a gay Godzilla dragon, blah, blah, blah. And she'll be like, yeah, that's lovely, sweetie.
I'm just going to play some devil's advocate here, and I don't think they actually searched before bringing him on.
You're still problematic then. You're still problematic. You're telling me you bring on a guest, and that's fine. I mean, you can have your take on it, but for me, that's even worse. Because you go before the court of law, and you tell the judge, well, Honor, I didn't really know or anything. What if the judge is going to tell you, sorry, sir, but ignorance is no excuse of the law? Like, how do you bring a guy that's supposedly been on Tucker Carlson and and Stephen, not Stephen. I was going to say Stephen Colbert, Stephen Crowder, Glenn Beck, and he's probably going to be doing more rounds, and then not even look him up. You just need to put his name in, and shit, like the Google explodes. It's just like vomiting diarrhea. How could you not? And there I am trying to tell them, right? And they just keep going and going. I mean, for Christ's sake, Google LGBT Tory pedo from the Daily Mail back in, what was this? 2018, not too long ago. Conservatives LGBT group linked with a pedophile ring after former chairman is jailed for sharing child porn. Good going, blonde. Good going. I'm sorry, I can't be that forgiving. And I understand you can have a differing point of view. New Tory chairman Brandon Lewis was urged last night to investigate claims that the party, and they're a party, lesbian and gay rights group was infiltrated by a pedophile ring. It was infiltrated. Okay. Anyways, like you don't research, and you bring this high profile character. What about questions about, well, how is this GoFundMe how is this going to be distributed? Questions that you and I would ask. It's just like everything is fucking like lowballed.
And the new Give Send Go, well, it's 8.1 million now. Their new goal is 16 million.
I need a drink after this and a cigarette, and I'm trying to fucking quit, man. Sanko says, subs mean dick. It's about the fans that watch consistently. Yeah, yes and no. I think they would definitely want the sub count. And here they start pitching again.
The other is Tamara_MVC. And the last one is at Quicken Report on Twitter. And yes,
there he is. There he is. Boom. Into the solar plexus. He gave a right, he gave a left, and boom, he gives it to the solar plexus. Like, there you go. No questions asked. And these two dopes just pitch this stuff, and then they don't even say anything about his Twitter thing with Che Guevara. Sure, he's trying to put it like an NPC, but I don't get it. Yup, okay. Anyway, that's all I'm going to cover about these two twats. And I'm sorry. Come at me. Come at me, Matt. Come at me now. Thankfully I don't watch these guys anymore. I think I asked them here. Yeah. See? Didn't know Blonde is an avid supporter of LGBT from K to 12 Bravo. No response. I'm not expecting to, right? So, hey, what are you conserving, boys? What are you conserving? Look at these guys. Yeah. Proud of these truckers. Really fucking proud. I got to say, man, I got to put this out. You guys are what I would call the true heroes. You are. I don't think anything's going to really change out of this, but these fuckers drove from BC, are in there in the cold, sleeping in their trucks. And then you remember when PPC guy came out? He's like, hey everybody, I just want to vote for the PPC. Motherfucker, this guy was in fucking Florida when everybody was in closed off and locked in their homes. And then he comes out like, it's one of those guys, that the whole team is fighting to win the game. And then he's the guy at the last minute that does the goal assist and just shoots it to the guy who gets the goal, and then he's like, "Yeah, I did it." No, you fuckhead. You stayed on the bench for the 2 hours of the game. In the last 2 minutes, you came out. Fuck you. And then they had that preacher. Don't even get me started on that fucking cult. We can talk about it next time. But the truckers are the real heroes, and that's where the goddamn focus needs to be. And they need people to come out as well. and support them. You know, I hope you're watching now that they're talking about restrictions being removed. I'm trying to get everything. Like, we've been going for how long now? 50 minutes. All right. Let me get into our next topic, and then I'll try to play some videos too, because there's a lot to cover. We haven't been on for a while, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, I can just whip through my stuff really quickly.
Yeah, let's do that. Just I'm looking for the. Where's my thing on? Right. Okay, I got it. Hold on. Just, what are you covering? The commerce stuff?
Commerce and the tracking, the payouts.
Okay.
It's short though.
All right. So I just want to show this. You still see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. So these truckers are kind of. By the way, I just want to mention that BJ Dichter and Tamara Lynch and the other guy. I don't know who that. I don't know who that other guy is. All are vaccinated, by the way. So just to let you know, they have nothing to lose. I have gone through now 2 potential opportunities because I've been warned now by my recruiter I need to be vaccinated, and come April I will not have a job because I am not vaccinated, and they will no longer renew my contract even if they want to, and I'm not getting vaxxed. So sorry. And I lost 2 opportunities, and they both asked me if I'm vaccinated, and I said no, and then they dropped me like shit on a stick. So I have lots to lose. My hopes and prayers go to these truckers, because like that's it. That's and I don't think anything's going to change. They seem to be pulling back, and I'll play that in a second. And then there's this. Right, which Canuck's going to talk about. I looked up the Canadian Trucking Alliance lobbyist information. They have a total of 121 communication reports. So even if we had one, these poor guys are going to be replaced. And I highlighted here, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but it says one of the proposed topics that they want to talk about, immigration related to temporary foreign worker program and support for demand-driven immigration allowances specific to assisting the shortage for qualified truck drivers. So when angry Albertan comes out and says, "Well, you know, those nationalists," then what are you preserving? Because I'll show after Canuck presents her thing. I'll show what happens when you get a group of people who push for immigration that eventually will push you out, because all these groups are fighting for their own in-groups. Go ahead, Canuck. You have the driver's seat.
Okay, 1 second. I'm just gonna find the article.
Come on. I set you up. Let's go.
I know. I'm a buzzkill.
Let's go. I'm just kidding. We can watch these guys partying it up.
Okay, is it showing up?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, for anyone who watches the site in recent months, one of the things I like to bring up a lot is who's getting money to support this, totally true, totally dangerous, thing. And one of the big ones that comes up a lot is the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy. Lo and behold, the Atlantic Provinces Trucking Association, the BC Trucking Association, Manitoba Trucking Association, and the Toronto Trucking Association, they're all getting the emergency wage support, courtesy of your tax dollars.
While they bring in TFWs.
Yeah. Federally and provincially, several, like, they make us say, it's like, yeah, we support this.
Whoa. What's this 125K?
Yeah, from
what they're getting?
November 2020. The Manitoba Trucking Association got 120K, and by the way, this is not CEWS, it's a separate program. Yeah, they got 125,000, and that's just the association. The truckers themselves didn't get anything,
Of course not,
but the
right?
the association got 125 down to help adapt.
But hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just stop.
Oh, sorry.
You're too quick on the gun there.
Sorry.
Easy there. What's this? Previously, they had taken 268,000 in 2014.
Oh, that's another grant type. Yeah, that goes back several years, but yeah, they took another 250,000.
So we have
Feds.
a welfare. We have
Yeah.
a welfare capitalistic, socialistic, communistic system.
And the Atlantic Trucking Association got 37,000 back in 2013, also from Ottawa.
That's peanuts. They'll blow that in 6 months on repairs.
Yeah. Policies and program. This is from the Federal Lobbying Registry. Immigration related to temporary foreign worker program and support for demand-driven immigration
Yeah,
allowances specific to addressing the trucker shortage.
That was that lobbyist form I pulled up, right?
Yep. And I looked at the BC registry, and lo and behold, I've condensed this a little bit, but I'm not quite sure why WorkSafe has given them some 6 million or so in the last several years. So the BC Trucking Association is very well subsidized by our communist government here.
Yeah, of course.
And there's
Was
The
like,
other one I
is that
wanted-
in the millions though? Go up a bit. Are we looking at, what's that? So hold on. 1.3. Wow, 4.6.
And those are separate grants.
And the part of this goes to the support of TFWs.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
we can't
WorkSafe would be training them, right?
Well, WorkSafe is kind of like the OSIB in Ontario. It's partly it's workplace insurance, partly it's like training programs.
Oh, so it would help to cover any instances of like an accident or something, right?
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to bring up, chambers of commerce. Now,
Yeah, a lot of those lovely guys.
yeah, broadly speaking, chambers of commerce are business associations that lobby various governments, municipal, federal, provincial, to get essentially to loosen the rules so that we can, lo and behold, bring more people in. Now, some of the names are in French, so it's probably more than this. But I type in Chamber of Commerce into the wage subsidy, I get 235 hits. 235 different chambers of commerce in Canada. Now, there's no way I'm doing 235 groups. So I focused on one, the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, which is obviously the biggest one. Looking up some of their grants in recent years.
Jesus, look at Canada
And-
Post. Canada
Yeah,
Post
so
is a what do you call it? A partial governmental
So-
organization.
Yeah. So here's the
semi-private.
thing. These Chamber of Commerce receives money from various government entities, which we pay through our taxes. Chamber of Commerce then turns around and lobbies the government to, let's just say, open the borders a little more, to bring in more people to replace the taxpayers who paid their bills. So Bank of Canada has given them money, Business Development Bank, Canada Foundation for Immigration, Canada
No,
Post.
hold on. Sorry, just so I understand. These monies here, this list of, are these donations or receivables to these organizations?
Well, but the lobbying registry where I got most of this from
Okay.
refers to handouts.
So can you
I mean,
can you
sure-
scroll up
I'm sure there's strings attached, but
Yeah.
it's
right where just a little bit more so I understand what these mean. While organization does receive private donations, is undeniably getting government handles. Okay, so this is from your website. So the Chamber of Commerce receives monies and then they distribute it to these companies, or they're receiving monies
they're
from these
getting it
companies
from
Okay. So so what is Canada? Look at the amounts in Canada Post. It's like year over year, 10, 6, 6.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not as much info as I'd like. It's just list the dates and amounts. But I have to figure
Why
that if they're
is-
giving money to the Chamber of Commerce,
Now
they're
is it,
pushing for the government to change rules on their behalf.
but is Chamber of Commerce a NGO or a private organization?
It's my understanding is they're private, but they receive public financing.
That's weird.
Well, some private, some public.
Why is the CRA giving them $900,000 for?
I had to guess that's probably the CU's the wage subsidy. It's run by the CRA. It's quite oh, it's still more. The Competition Bureau, Economic and Social Development Canada, Environment and Climate Change Canada's given them some money. Export Development Canada.
Who's running the Chamber of Commerce? Anybody of relevance? Have we looked into that?
I've took a brief look. None of the names stood out, but it's basically just quote unquote business oriented people who want to create a more business friendly environment. So they're essentially lobbying on behalf of all of the businesses, and our government helps subsidize them, or I should say, we help subsidize them. Health Canada gave
Health
almost
Canada four
five-
fucking million, almost five. Let's just call it
Yeah.
5.
I'm not entirely sure what about that grant. Or like why that happened.
And that was recent, just last year.
Yep. Innovation, Science, and Economic Development Canada, Montreal Port Authority.
Okay, I gotta look this up. While you're doing that, I'll look this up.
Yeah. The Office of the Privacy Commissioner gave money to the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know that either. It's, the Port Authorities, those are not surprising. Via Rail's a regular contributor.
Isn't it Via Rail owned by a large portion of it, Bill Gates?
Yes. And getting into lobbying, what does the Chamber of Commerce promote?
Right. That's what I'm on their webpage right now.
Reducing regulatory burdens for employers, promoting immigration to smaller rural and northern communities, supporting regional and community immigration strategies,
Of course.
modernizing the TFW program, facilitating pathways to permanent residence.
Kanzuk.
For town. That's something different, but it's...
No, I know
has the
it's
same
different.
effect.
But Kanzuk will help promote this because
Oh, yeah.
the idea is to help New Zealanders, Canadians, British kind of go around. But there's been a new video. They want to expand that to other countries. But that's not what's going to happen. What you're going to get is British Indians, British Chinese, like New Zealand, Australia, Chinese. They're just going to like completely decimate like the economy from old stock Canadians.
And this
immigration.
This quote I took from the 2014 lobbying.
Unbelievable.
It's even beyond the Borders Initiative. It's essentially commerce beyond borders and trade restrictions, expediting border things, expediting application processes, a foreign credentials recognition program, essentially to make it easier to replace new graduates with imports, make it changes so applications for permanent residency can be sped up, changes to increase the number of economic immigrants to the country at double the current rate. And I was going to bring this up as well, but I think I'll say it now. Immigration is actually largely a provincial issue. Yes, the feds do set some things, but Ottawa has 13 different treaties with the provinces and territories. It's the provinces pushing this. So people who say you hate Trudeau, you're screaming at the wrong person.
Well, technically, they're all aligned. Like, I mean, when you say that, that's on a technical, because there is no left right. It's
I know.
It's just the illusion to give people a reason to argue and bicker.
Yeah. Chamber of Commerce also pushing a regional strategies for settlement needs, and also to increase long-term formal employment opportunities in poor and developing countries. So we're also going to be subsidizing work programs abroad in addition to bringing people here.
Okay, pause
And the-
pause for a sec. I just want to highlight something. If I can share my screen, and I'll let you share yours
Okay.
again. So if you can stop, and I'll share my screen. I want to show you something that's important here. So this is their website. I'm just been perusing, and this is a good leadway to look into this organization. But the marketing also tells you a lot. How they present their page, where their thoughts lay, because the marketing groups work with them. So obviously, they're pushing here for the Council for Women's Advocacy. So more feminism in the workplace. Don't keep your legs open, because that's misogynist. Obviously, let's look at the background of this individual. Let's look at this. This to me. Dave Cullen from Computing Forever points this out. So does Black Pilled, and so does Morgoth. This here is very telling where these people's true intentions are, and it's diversity. You can see the white woman's put in the background. We have a Sikh, we have an Asian, a Filipina, maybe a white person in the background. Here's a black. And these people in the background. Obviously, look at here. We have an Asian woman being authoritative. Here's an Indian woman. Here's a black doctor. Heaven forbid if there were any TVs there or anything. Like, he'd probably be better at his job. But okay, well, it's plants, so we can guess probably. So yeah, there's that. Obviously, we have someone of a Middle Eastern and maybe a different type of Middle Eastern. Obviously, again, black cannabis. Yeah, because man, because weed is so cool. And of course, we gotta include the other. Look at this. I mean, just look at this. This tells you where this money's going, right? Asians. Hey, climate change, environmental. Oh, look. This tells you a lot. And then you have something like the digital economy, which we'll talk. We don't have enough time because there's just so much to cover. We've had too much of a break, and I think we should go on next week. We need to cover ID 2020. There's been some work there with Accenture and others around that part of the milestones to get us to the 2030 plan. Financial Policy Committee. So all very interesting. I just wanted to kind of, I apologize. You can share the screen and continue. Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay.
We'll continue. But that just gives you a glimpse of where their real strategy is. It's complete alignment with conservatives and liberals. It's no different.
Yeah. The rest of the article is essentially just listing who's getting the sues. And like I said, it's probably not everyone, because especially like in the Quebec ones, they spell it a bit differently, but I just stopped at 235. Yeah. We're propping up, our money is being used to prop up groups who are openly calling essentially for economic destruction under the guise of economic growth.
Yeah,
And-
it's always been about the welfare. Essentially, why do you think they always increase taxes? It's not because they want to pay for more social services. I mean, the roads in Toronto are shit. They never fix it.
Yeah.
And they never have enough money, but they have enough money. They had enough money to build a 407, but then they didn't have enough money, and they had to balance their budgets. They're always balancing their budgets, but they're always raising taxes. So I want to see, I'm a kind of an analytical person. I once did an exercise. I took all the MLAs, all the MPs, and all of the other civil servants, guesstimated about how many. I did averages based on all the types of work. I came into the trillions in the cost to run this country. When you start putting the numbers together, then you got to start asking yourself, maybe it's time we fucking shrink the government. because it just seems to get bigger and bigger, and all this money that goes to what you think to support social services, because our social services are shrinking, and then they use those social services against us. Like, get vaccinated because we care about your health. Okay, what about cigarettes? You've been milking that.
They're taxable.
But that's right. But they've been milking that, but they've been also putting warning labels. Which what did we get canned for when we talked about the manuals? We just read the manuals. We got shit canned, right? We got that taken down. But they put warning labels, like really ugly pictures on your cigarettes, but they're more than happy to make you, like, cancer. If you look up the number one death thing for the number one killer of humanity, it's cancer. It's cancer.
As I'm not sure if I ever got to this. And there's just whip through. In addition to the commerce groups, the trucking groups, there's also quite a few like restaurant and hotel groups, which are getting not just CEWS but various other subsidies. I think it's I have the numbers down here. I did the search of restaurant, and this includes chains. 6,065 when you search restaurant, and there are some chains in there as well.
I wonder if that matches up to remember that list from Globe and Mail several years, I think it was like 2012. They made a list of all of the companies, small businesses that were using TFWs. I wonder if that matches up.
And if you search hotel, and this does include some chains, 1,030 hotels, all getting the wage subsidy. Now, the rental subsidy program, pretty much everyone who gets that too. Unfortunately, that doesn't list by business, but I'm assuming the bulk of people, especially restaurants, who apply for wage subsidy are getting the rental subsidy. And now there's also, I think, the new hiring subsidy. So, like, this is freaking absurd. And sorry, I'm just... You want to know why there's no opposition in Ottawa? I kid you not. The Conservative Party of Canada is on the wage subsidy. This isn't a joke. Aaron O'Toole, Michelle Rempel, Paul Ever, and all those, their party is funded by a program that Trudeau set up. The United Conservative Association. That's the UCP. That's Jason Kenney's party in Alberta.
Well, he's a former Harperite. I mean, fuck.
Yeah, they're getting the wage subsidy again. Not a joke. This is real. New Democrats Association. That's Jagmeet Singh's party. They're getting the wage subsidy. The Alberta Liberal parties.
Hold on. Wait. What the fuck is that? Liberal Jewelry Limited?
Oh, it got flagged. I think that's actually.
Okay.
I just did a search of Liberal.
Okay, I was going to say, like, are they expensing fucking jewelry? They probably are, right?
Yeah. So. The Federal Liberal Agency of Canada. Do you know who that is?
No.
That's the financial ring of Trudeau's party.
Oh.
The federal Liberals, the federal Conservatives, and the federal NDP are all getting the wage subsidy.
Of course they are.
So is the PEI Liberal Association. And by the way, since we're being inclusive here, the BC Green Party is also getting the wage subsidy. Like, we actually have actual parties. You wonder why nobody opposes anything. They're all frickin' on the take.
I mean, like, we should know this, right? Like, how we've been talking about this for a long time, right?
Yeah.
This kind of, I think, the other fellow researcher, Maureen, has, like, I'll give it to, I know I rag on females all the time, and I'll give this to you ladies. You fucking, because I think it's kind of gossipy. Your research skills is impeccable. Like, I go and dig into shit, but you girls, man, fuck the work that you do.
Hey, so it's not stalking as long as you publish it.
That's right. So, the thing is that I just want to mention again, that you're giving them money to imprison you and at the same time enrich themselves and their friends.
Yeah.
That's called a racket, by the way. That's the definition of a racket.
You want to look at churches?
Oh,
3,113, at least. I just use the word church on the wage subsidy. By the way, if we're using stuff from the Canada Revenue Agency, charity status, it's over 15,000 churches. This also there's also a litany of other grants, which is too long to mention.
yeah. No wonder they keep pushing, like when you can't enter a church because they tell you got to wear a mask.
Oh yeah, and this is just the last one I'm gonna do, since might as well knock it off. If you're asking where all the lawyers are, you search law firm, you get 70 matches getting the wage subsidy. You search lawyer, you get another 122.
Can you? I won't mention it.
Let's just say there's a certain name I recognize on here.
Yeah. I was about to ask you, but we'll hold back on that.
And if you search legal, you get another 300 names, but that's like, that also includes people who are like involved in the industry, not necessarily lawyers.
You know what you should try? Go to the church. If you guys go to the church and you see this this information, which is available on canucklaw.ca, and you go to church and you should just go in nominus spiritus vaximus minus. just do that in front of the priest. Make him spurg out. Like, no, what do you? No, I thought that was the new type of prayer.
Yeah. And it's not just the lawyers getting the money. The Canadian Bar Association is on the wage subsidy.
Hey, if you can, we'll post it in the post show notes.
Yeah.
But give Sanko the link, please.
Yeah. So is the Nova Scotia Bar Association, the Ontario Bar Association,
Of course.
and this actually translates to the Quebec Bar Association. So you're wondering why nobody actually is doing anything to do. Everyone is on the take, and I'm not being hyperbolic. Everyone's on the take.
Yeah. Well, that gives a whole new meaning to, lawyers.
Yeah. I'll just start posting in the chat if you want to.
Post it in the chat. Post it in the chat. Why is this person was hidden by Faye Knox? Oh, okay. I don't know. Like maybe it was like a Russian bot. So I want to bring something else up because, at the beginning when we used to have AJ on, if anybody remembers, we had the Canadian Roundtable, and people used to bug me about rallying against the Chinese. Well, this kind of started with all the Chinese people, like, with them at the Winnipeg Biolab and being whisked off because, they broke some protocols, some bullshit like that, and then we saw all these fake videos that were being pushed by Epoch Times, which have their own agenda, right? Because Hung Lee Lai has. Okay, thanks, Faye. Appreciate that. So Hung Lee Lai wants to kind of put himself into a position of a leader. I don't know if it's the Communist Party or he just wants to have his like Falun Gongs, as I like to affectionately call them, Falun Dongs. That were pushing those videos from China and getting everybody spurging out about fear about and getting him to take the pill. But this is really interesting. Again, big thanks to the ladies for doing the research. Maureen, if you're watching, a nice clap for you. She does great work. You can find her doing work at Canadian Intelligence Network. So she gave me this today. Like, let me take it off the dark mode because obviously it's harder to see. All right. Am I sharing my screen with you, Canuck? Probably not. Okay, I'm not. Give me a sec, and then you can see what I'm seeing. All right. Yeah, it seems like they're hitting everybody, Faye, including like the truckers too. Like, don't like. Look, I'm not saying that they're right or anything, but when they do make sometimes claims about the Russians getting engaged, it can be possible, right? Because there's a whole bunch of elements. I don't necessarily trust Putin either. I know a lot of people like to talk about him, but because they would benefit. Because remember, During the outbreak in early 2021, Israel, Iran, Russia, and China had made a compact together. It wouldn't be outside of the interest to kind of destabilize the West. Okay, so this is from an actual Government of Canada website. This is scary. Posted here: big data and the social credit system, the security consequences. However, the way they talk about it, it's not really, they highlight the security consequences, but they also give the benefits. Just kind of weird, it is from the Security Intelligence Service, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is harnessing modern technology as a means to automate its processes for consolidating and expanding power. What have we been doing for the past 2 years? Canuck, what have we been doing for the past 2 years?
Shutting everything down and forcing everything online.
Yep. And what is that? Which milestone is that a part of the 2030?
I had to check. I think it's number 12. I think.
It's the ID 2020, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, I think it's goal number 12. I'd have to double check.
Yep. And we'll get into that, and not like I said, too much to cover. Maybe these longer breaks are not so good because I'm trying to cover everything. But anyways, so the purpose is explicit in 2017 action plan to promote the development of big data, and that's everywhere, linking advances in big data to social governance. What do you think those vaccine passes are? Remember, what you're not seeing is that the WEF keeps talking about climate change and now talking about climate change passes.
Yeah. So if you, I think part of it they realized the whole pandemic thing can last forever, so we need to once again shift the goalposts. Sorry, we're not restricting your movements because of the deadly virus. We're restricting you because you've allotted your carbon expenditure for the month.
Right. Which is basically what they're using with the smart system, right? You can only use your energy during like certain non-peak hours. I mean, you could still use it during peak hours, but you're going to get hit with a nice bill. So, which is the CCP's preemptive process for ensuring state security. Advances in big data provide CCP with greater capacity to forecast, identify, and assess risks to party state security. Their application is also intended to improve, let me make this bigger, improve the integration, sharing, and utilization of data between and across party state entities. One of the party's CCP social governance process is the nascent social credit system, which relies on technology to coerce and co-opt individuals to participate in their own management. Big data and social credit do not replace the party as the central authority. Developments in those fields seek to augment existing processes for social and political control, which are visibly and invisibly hosted through everyday social media and economic activity. Progress in big data and social credit does not create fundamentally new control methodologies. Instead, those are the best described as upgraded hardware and software components being installed to make People's Republic of China a politically system more effective. So I'm not going to I'll post this in the show notes maybe later tonight. I just want to get to this piece here. And this is kind of like from the positives. Advances in big data and social credit consolidate and expand the CCP's power by optimizing party state resources and synthesizing a vast amount of information and resources from market and government sources to force the vertical and horizontal integration of government entities, reducing the party state's exposure to risks both inside and outside China's geographical borders, using economic development and urban management requirements. Sounds like an STG, doesn't it? Sustainable
Yes.
Development Goal. Doesn't that sound similar?
Very much does.
As primary means for strengthening the state's role in everyday social and economic life, using the advancements to improve logistical integration and capabilities for crisis mitigation and response. Well, kind of, didn't we start that post 2001 with the whole security apparatus, right? We've implemented a whole ton of change with since that time. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it was about 2001, or maybe 2001. It just became more obvious.
Shaping and managing demands and expectations both inside and outside China's geographical borders on the party state leadership, and building leverage through market and government engagement with foreign entities and governments. This is the last bullet is the key one, which I think these guys really want. This isn't really an identification of, let's say, the negatives, because we're already there, right? I think it's identification of how it's going to help these governments. This is the key one, building leverage through market and government engagement with foreign entities. And this, I'll tie this back to what you talked about, the Chamber of Commerce, and then it's basically a trough, right? Money gets filtered to the necessary entities, because if this came out and people actually did and dig through these documents and research, they would be appalled. Like, where's all this? Like, all this money is going to support your reduction in freedom. And is like I like to I'm going to try to reach out to Endeavor and have him on the show if I can, because he had a last episode where he says rights are only there as much as you can defend it. How do you defend it when the whole fucking apparatus is coming down on you? It's uneven. It's impossible to defend.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons it's done this way, because if you can, I forget who said, but if you can see what's happening, if you can understand the pattern, you can adapt to it. But if you could never fully grasp what's happening, it keeps you off balance. It's something to that effect. And that's kind of how it plays out here. One of the reasons they keep shifting the goalpost is so that we can never fully understand what's going on.
Okay. I think we're coming to the close, unless I was going to cover a couple of quick things, quick shots. I should call this part the quick shots. So I don't want to be Captain Buzzkill and just be completely, hey, everybody always complains that I'm black pilled, but I'd rather be black pilled than, anything else. But, don't be a Captain Buzzkill. We have some wins that's going on across the country right now, right? One of them is this one here. Edmonton exploring own proof of vaccination program after Alberta's canceled. What's really funny here, and there was an earlier posting from Global News saying Alberta canceling vaccination passports. Nowhere does it say, stipulate, expand, or has been played in a video that vaccination passports are going away. They're not. They're not. Because you don't invest in so much of a system and then pull it back. When has the government pulled back anything? I'll just go back to the income tax. Wasn't that supposed to be temporary? Wasn't the HST supposed to be temporary, or the GST? Remember, Christian? Yeah. Well, I just want to, we need the money right now, and so, I will put in the GST, and I know people are unhappy, but, we have a deficit, and we need... So how come we still have two tax systems?
Well, and you mentioned it's not going to go away. The other option, which I kind of alluded to earlier, it may not, with all this money, like all the churches, all the political groups, all your restaurants, your hotels, your trucking and industry associations, everyone getting the wage subsidy, they might not want that money to stop. Maybe they want it to keep coming. And what if, say, Jason Kenney says, or Trudeau says, you want your subsidies coming? Fine. You enforce the vaccine passport
Yeah, that's
yourself.
what see, like, I remember everybody going, white pill, win moment, we're winning. No, you're not. You're not winning. You're getting concessions. You're getting a shut the fuck up. We'll give you, okay, fine. You can't have all the candy in the fucking candy store. Here's a couple of fucking candy bars. Now fuck off. That's what they're doing. Like, remember, it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Boris Johnson, the famous fucking conservative, that on the evening of his win, he said he was going to eliminate visas for African immigrants. This guy made an announcement. All COVID restrictions and mandates are going to go away. He made a very key phrase. This is why listening skills is important, and many millennials don't have it anymore. Sorry, millennials, but I know you rag on the boomers, but sometimes you're just like the boomers. The important, in the first 3 sentences, he said, if a business chooses to follow the NHS guidelines, they are free to do so. What does that position put? Again, mechanics, and I want the details, right? It's all in deets. It's all the contract deets.
Yeah.
How do you mitigate that? I go to hold on. I'll let you finish. Let me just. I know you. I'll let you get in there. Don't worry. I'll get you the hat trick. How I go? What happens? I go to the store, the grocery store, and I want to buy a fucking carrot. And I said, and I get to the door, and they said, there's a big Indian guy that they've brought in from India or somewhere in the middle of Africa, and says, no, you cannot pass. And I'm like, well, but I don't. No, you need vaccination passport. Show me your passport. And I said, I can't. Why? You're not supposed to ask people. And they're going to tell you it's because the business has chosen to follow NHS guidelines. National Health Services is a department or branch of the government. Try to take that to fucking court. Good luck. Because you'll be so bogged down and broke by the end of it, you'll just say, fuck it, boost me up, baby. And that's the fucking game that they're playing here. They're playing chicken with you. And if you fucking quit right now, they won. So this guy here, again, back to immigration, back to the Chamber of Commerce, back to the TFW, Edmonton Mayor Amarjeet Sohi wants to keep the mandates in Edmonton. Think about, I can't criticize this guy, but if he was an old stock Canadian, oh fuck, no holds barred. But I can't, because he's a protected minority. And do you see what I mean? They come here to the land of milk and honey, and then they treat the people that gave them the land of the milk and honey like dog shit.
Mask mandate will remain in place indefinitely. Of course. I'm just sorry, just a comment in the article.
No problem. And that's, I listened to the video. I have an outro. This was kind of like, ad hoc. We decided to come on. I was spurging about MATT CHRISTIANSEN because I'm quite upset about, just you have this YouTuber who apparently is conservative, but then just completely misses the shot and helps support the machinations of a particular group. Or group of people, or people who were a group of people and a certain chosen group of people who are all working together to undermine everything. Control it from all sides, right? Who was that guy named, I forgot, in France when Napoleon was fighting the wars and he was gambling on both the win and the loss, so he would win-win? I'm not going to mention his name. You know what family he belongs to. Sanko knows. Why does this keep stopping? What the fuck's wrong with this? Anyway, here we go. People dancing. The other one thing is like a little bit less dancing, a little bit more seriousness, right? I think it's time to, because you get these young people come out and start raving. I think a little bit more speech is better oration. I think is good. Anyway, so this stuff is not going away. You gotta pay attention to the specific language that they use. I watched that 1 fucking hour long presser with Henshaw. I don't know who this new doctor is. This guy, and Jason Kenney. And I had to speed it like 1.75 just so I can hear him. And I went back, forth. Where does he say he's getting rid of COVID vaccination passports? He doesn't. He actually says in another interview, I suggest that people continue to get vaccinated. If you haven't been vaccinated, go get vaccinated. It'd definitely help.
Yeah. And if people have short-term memories, just if you're in Alberta, BC, or Saskatchewan, just remember what happened in early July in all of our provinces. They quote-unquote dropped all the restrictions. Then in each province, less than 2 months later, they pretty much brought back everything.
Yeah.
And I think Manitoba cycled a bit late, but I think Andy told me that he got his freedom for like maybe a month around there.
Yeah. So this, by the way, I think you're the one who exposed it. The Ontario government was signing up for a similar ID 2020 not too long ago, because they want to push the driver's licenses and everything else digitally. I think there was a posting in one of the dailies.
Vaccine Credential Initiative, yes.
Yeah.
The Ontario Ministry of Health is actually one of the partners. You're right. I'll throw that in the chat too.
Yes, please. So that's important, and I'm telling you, the kind of money's being, they'll work through Accenture or some of the other bigger consulting companies to work on these implementations. That's not going away. They're not going to end a program they threw billions at. Like, you're dreaming. Now, this is why I think, the truckers are our last resort. I mean, think about if they break and go home, how empowered is that little shit Trudeau? And I also want to bring up the fact, I want to make a correction to everybody that's going out there. Trudeau's scared. No. Trudeau is not scared. He's a coward. Someone who is scared would not be talking the way he does. He's a coward because he hides behind the power of the state. He's not scared. He's not scared at all. Person that is, they're like, I'm not going to do that. I'm scared. I'm telling you right now, I'm scared about talking and digging in further into some of the topics that I covered because these people are powerful.
Yeah. And I think I brought this up on a stream a while back, but it was worth another mention. As for your various health authorities or whatnot, I just want to point out a lot of them are actually registered charities that accept private donations. The BC Provincial Health Services Authority, BC CDC Foundation, Alberta Health Services, Saskatchewan Health Authority, Winnipeg Health Authority, Ontario Public Health Ontario is kind of a mixed partnership. Nova Scotia Health Authority is a charity. It's like a lot of them have charity status. The reason I believe is because it subsidizes private donations. And who do you want to donate if you don't have a financial interest in the policies that are set? So basically, there are private corporations that we subsidize. So this runs deep.
Oh, it's run
Yeah.
deep for a very long time. So in order to continue what they are doing, they've already put the apparatuses in place. Like it's called a RAID log, to kind of use my vernacular: risks, actions, issues, and decisions. And they use that. They put that there, and they use the lessons learned. How are we going to mitigate this? Now, I did post. I'm just trying to fucking find that here. Give me a sec. And apologies for being always using expletives. That's just me. I don't know any better. Here, I think I found it. Where is it? Where's Mr. Kenny? I was going to play the video here. Here. I'll just bring this over here. And there he is. Let's play this.
First of all, I thank you for sitting down with us today. Really appreciate that. Secondly, you had to apologize this morning.
Of Omicron, and the fact that the vaccines are not as protective against infection and transmission.
This is funny.
Is that people who are vaccinated are just about as likely to transmit as the unvaccinated. So this notion that we should treat some people like they're somehow unclean and a threat to our health, I think can lead us down a very dark path. And look, I make no bones about it. I'm triple vaccinated.
By the way, it says here, see,
Everybody
proof of
seems
vaccination
like
canceled.
it's
No.
the right thing to do.
Globe and
safe
Mail
and
said
effective.
said it's
You
the
know
same
what?
thing.
We have 750,000 unvaccinated Albertans, and we
Hey guys, let's hands up. Let's give a nice applause to those 700,000 Albertans. Bravo. Hey, I am proud of you, and I will send each of you a lollipop. Seriously, no, I'm fucking proud of you guys. Congrats for holding out, because
Yeah.
right?
You have to admire the shifting the goalposts. It's like, sorry, we have to implement vaccine passports because it's the only way. Then after we coerce everyone, yeah, vaccines don't really do all that much. So,
so
shit happens.
how come these shitheads are not taken out by misinformation guidelines? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they are the information. They're the ones who control it. Like, shut up. All right, hold on.
First of
Let's
all,
go here.
I thank
I want to
you,
forward this
for
to this
sitting
one
down.
part.
it
where-
wasn't working to that end any longer. And
I think-
Oh, no, go back. Go back. Go back about 10 seconds. It wasn't working to that end anymore.
It wasn't working
Okay.
to that end any longer. And
So that-
so the main
That
thing
he just admits
let
it was
kids be
used
kids.
for
What-
coercion.
Yeah, shall we replay that?
Yeah.
Let's replay
Yes.
that bit.
It wasn't working to that end any longer. And so the main thing we've done now is just to let kids be kids. Put kids first.
By the way, does anyone know that what's it called? A Covavax pill? It's called Covavax pad or whatever. I can't remember.
It's got a few different names.
Paxlovid, I think. That's coming out this year, and they want to give that. That's to be administered if you have it, and But do you remember? Did you hear the new talk? So this has been, I think Sean's been talking about this on CIN, and I kind of I didn't want to jump into those waters too much. But any medication you take is a hit really into the immune system. I think it weighs around 4 pounds of your whole system. It's one of the biggest organs in your system. It's most complex. Look it up, do some research. I'll post some stuff in the thing. Look about the feedback loop system and how that works. It also, by the way, mitigates fertility. So those some of these claims are coming out. They're having fertility problems and whatever. So most medications will fuck with your immune system. It imbalances it and whatever. So they're finding that they're calling it VAIDS, vaccine immunodeficiency syndrome. Isn't that fucking hilarious? And they said there's articles in Globe and Mail, so don't fucking take me down, YouTube, because I will challenge you. It's being posted by your own goddamn media that they're talking about could lead to AIDS. And then there's this
As the top priority when it
hold on.
comes to relax.
So I think it was one of my guys here in my chat posted some. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So he said he's found this in Saskatchewan. It says here, say yes to the test. And by the way, I'm starting to see a lot of this being promoted in the media. Routine screening for HIV is now recommended in Saskatchewan. Clients will be regularly asked to have HIV testing done when having other blood work ordered with their annual exam.
Wasn't there a thing a while back? Hey kids, heart attacks is normal.
Johnny went out to play a little ball with his friend Kyle, and they both had a heart attack. Like, holy shit. It's not funny, okay? I'm because like Mersh says, they can't take your fucking laughter away. But seriously, like, what the fuck? So now they're trying to control the message. I think they fucked up. I don't think they realized that all this shit was going to happen. I thought that they probably thought this was probably going to be maybe an onset of Parkinson's in 10 to 15 years or whatever, right? Obviously, there's also that. I wonder if I could play this video. This was a really good video. I think this is one of the organizers Andy had sent to us as well. So this here.
Hi, my name is Dagny, and I've been volunteering with the Matthew House for over a year now. And I believe that refugees are important to our communities and to our country because I firmly believe that our strength comes from diversity.
Oh, Christ. We're being attacked in all sorts of ways. Oh yeah. So there's that, right? I'm doing quick shots. Sorry. Here's this one.
Israel asked the FDA for emergency use for its COVID vaccine for children as young as 6 months old. And that prospect has some parents pausing.
Yeah, this one might be tricky. Children 6 months to 5 years old. NBC Bay Area's
This is crazy.
Ian Cole explains the challenges, the possible timeline, and
Brought to you
shots could go
by
into arms.
Pfizer.
I covered that a while back. Nova Scotia was doing research, I think, 4 months ago on that. So it's Dalhousie University. So it's happening here too.
Wow.
Use authorization for its vaccine for kids 6
It's always
months to 4
emergency,
years
by the
old.
way, so they're
They'll
not
ask for
liable.
a 2-dose regimen while they continue to research how well 3 doses work, according to the Washington Post.
So we're releasing a drug for infants that just came out of their womb and their immune systems are not fully intact, while we continue to figure out if the 3 doses are working.
This moment is brought to you by Toxikill. Now with 40% less heavy metals. It's in stores now.
I can't wait to get my Stream Deck going. Brought to you by Toxikill. These people are insane, man. They're like, I swear to God, they got to be some kind of reptilian beasts. Like, from the movie V. And they came through that fucking portal at the Large Hadron Collider.
Recently, we spoke with Dr. Yvonne Maldonado.
Look at this. What the fuck? Like, they're strapping a kid. This is normal. Huh? This is normal? This is normal to people.
To the Washington Post. Recently, we spoke with Dr. Yvonne Maldonado about why 3 doses may be needed. She's the principal investigator in the Pfizer vaccine clinical trial at Stanford for young kids.
The vaccine trials that have been done so far in the under 5-year-old children have demonstrated.
Oh my God. She's wearing a skin suit. That's a fucking reptile. Look, seriously, come on, guys, in the chat, whoever's in the chat, who is this person like a reptile underneath here? What are your thoughts, Canuck?
It's hideous, whatever it is.
How come these people, these medical experts, are always butthole ugly, or look like they're melting? Yeah, I expect my female doctor to have like a nice set of cans, beautiful bum, and just like super hot, smoking hot, because she's into medicine and healthy living. Or the guy looks like fucking Adonis or something, right? For the girls, they never look like that. They all look like they're dying. Like, look at this woman. Let's do the Paul Adonis thing. What drugs is she on? What drugs is she on? Holy shit.
Strong safety, but just not the degree of antibody responses, especially in 2 to 4-year-olds. So it is hoped that a third dose in the under 5-year-old.
Tell me about it. Why not just give Did you hear Biden today? He wants to give like syringes and stuff to the black community to keep them all fucking. Don't smoke crack from the needles. Do it from the crack pipes, okay? What the fuck?
Don't shoot crack. Shoot back. Shoot.
Again, I'm a smoker. Why not take the smokes away from me? The cancer will kill me faster than any fucking vaccine. But you won't do that. Or the fucking vaping. Or, like booze. Like, it's a problem. It's a number. That's why MAD came around. That's why I can't drive without a fucking seatbelt. Because I'm mad. Because they're all concerned about my health. But meanwhile, and I still am allowed to smoke cigarettes or other drugs in my body. But this is like you have to take this, right? You have to. Hold on.
Israel asked the FDA for emergency.
All right.
So it is hoped that a strong antibody response.
If approved, kids will get 1/10 the dose adults receive.
I think we have to be a little careful here. I'm sure FDA and CDC will weigh all the evidence very carefully, but
sure they will.
I don't think this is necessarily a slam dunk.
UCSF's Dr. George Rutherford says it may be trickier because data on that third dose still needs to come in.
For these mRNA vaccines, we really need to think in terms of a 3-dose series rather than 2 doses and some mythic booster down the line. Let's have a real close look at the data and make the most prudent decision. I mean, we have to be extra, the layers of safety for vaccines for younger children are even higher.
The New York Times reports if Pfizer waited for data on a 3-dose regimen, the data would not be submitted until late March, and the vaccine might not be authorized for that age group until weeks later. But if the 2-dose series is approved, the vaccine could be ready by the end of February. In the South Bay, Ian Cole, NBC.
This is just fucking unbelievable. By the way, I have a sneaky suspicion. You tell me what you think, but I think they're going to get these kids back into schools because they're saying, oh, restrictions are gone, no masks and stuff. And then they're going to put on the cards that they need to be vaccinated.
Yeah, that's not a stretch at all.
That's not a choice, man. That's again, political coercion. Also, I want to mention, before I think we close, I think we're good to close. We've been on for quite a bit. But I wanted to mention the whole Dr. Malone, right? Everyone is always eager to look for some sort of hero. I'm not saying what he's saying is bad, right? Like he rallies against this type of medication in children, but he's not against it, guys. He's not against it. He's even taken it. He's the inventor of it, of the thing that they want to inject you with. The other thing he talked about which is the mass hypnosis formation or formation hypnosis. I hope you guys understand that's a fucking troll. Because once he mentioned that, especially on Joe Rogan, it went on blast, and everybody started using that. And I kept saying, guys, he's trolling you. Do you not see how he talks about mass hypnosis formation or mass formation hypnosis? And then you guys go around, I'm not saying you directly, but the ones who did, go around and start using that like it's the big new term. Again, another bunch of intellectuals who use kind of subversive psychological methods to spread the word around, because we are a gregarious animal. And it took one guy to talk about it, Endeavor. And I suggest you guys go see. He's a Canadian, very smart guy. You know, he's not as guttural or colloquial. He speaks in a nice manner and form. His last video, he talked about it. And he says, so when the UN got together after the Second World War and started making all these rules for everybody without consultation with everybody, people that didn't want those rules, was that mass formation hypnosis when they all started following it. You could apply that term to anything. So if you were to apply it to that, isn't like most Canadians, when they say old stock Canadians are like, immigration's good, it's great, you know, diversity is our strength. Isn't that a form of mass? But if you mention that, then it's not. So you got to be careful with these people and the tricks that they use. Would you agree?
I would, yeah.
You know, like, this is the guy who basically invented the kind of medical system using genetic therapy. By the way, if you guys remember, it was not too long ago when the whole West was against GMOs, right? GMOs, we don't want to use that. We don't want to have genetically modified organism crops and stuff like that, because these are not good. They could impact human health. But now we're doing it. We're injecting it. And like, it's like saying the guy that invented the machine that kind of blew up the sun, and he's like, hey guys, I know I blew up the sun, and like everybody, we're never going to have sunlight on this planet anymore. But I'm sorry, you know, like, hey guys, it was a bad thing to do. This was bad technology. Dude, at what point do I forgive you? Right? Like, at what point do I forgive you? It's funny because after the fact, you're telling me this, and I think we read the documents also covered, and Houstontronic also covered the guy's patents, and it's not just like his own, but others that he's attached to, and he's making money off of it. So we got to be really fucking careful who's getting engaged in all these things. I welcome the fact that you're saying this isn't the right thing to do to give to children, but he's not saying it's not right not to do it. He's saying, oh, you know, if you're... Again, this thing about choice, which is funny, because by giving choice, just to make people percolate this shit in their head, by giving people choice of this kind of medication, you've essentially taken my choice because of mass group dynamics. Think about that term. When a large portion of a group that sets the truth, right? And I like to call it truth by numbers. How do you fight it? Then you become ostracized. Just saying, bro. Anyways, I think that's it for tonight. You got anything else? I
think I'm good. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back, and I think we need to do this a little bit more regularly. We took too much of a break. I wanted to keep off the whole trucker thing. This is their time, and I gotta say, man, I'm grateful because it's not easy to be out there in the cold and shit. So I hope things do change. Pack mentality. That's right.
Keep on trucking in the free world or something like that.
Yeah, keep on. Look, I need that for my stream deck. I'm just so itching to get this started. That's why we got to work on that. You'll do the lady part. So look, when I come in and brought to you by Toxkill, and then you do a little bit of the disclaimer part.
Toxkill is linked with heart attacks, sudden death, and whatever. But it's FDA approved. It's in stores now.
Do not take if you're sleeping, if you're drinking beer, or if you're having a meal past 6 a.m. Just go.
do not take if you want children.
The honkering. That's right, Sanko. The honkering. Okay, folks. I think that's it. I don't have a closer. I will have one next week, and I think we should try. I know you're working now and stuff, but maybe, if you want to go back on Wednesday, I think we can do that, right? Or just a day. We'll pick a day.
I'm sure we could figure something out.
Yeah, do this week more back on the weekly basis, and then I'll have the show closer that time. There's a lot of clips. Good God, I don't know which clips to pick. There's so many. Take a break, and the whole goddamn world goes to shit. Anyway. All right. So everyone, thank you. Please subscribe. And we'll catch you on the Lolo, right? So thanks everybody for watching. And hey, before we go, do you want to pitch your books?
Oh, yeah, I've got 3 out. There's one on the works. I've got the 2 pandemic books. It's 2021 and Inside the Ontario Science Table. It's the stuff that you should be seeing on the news, but you aren't. I've got Inside the Banking Cartel, or Green Bankers Cartel, which is international bankers connected to the climate change movement. And I've got one which has been delayed, but immigration and open borders in Canada. That's taken longer than I thought. Hope to have that out soon.
So check our books out. You can get it on digital format, which is fairly inexpensive. What's the price on that?
The digital is $10. The paperbacks range from $18 to $25.
Yeah, I got the paperbacks because I like to put notes in it. $10. It's a good reference material. You can pass along to your friends, and when they start to try to bullshit you, just well, actually, let me just read this here for you. Blah 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 blah. Right on your cell phone. Anyways, folks, thanks for watching. See you again. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you sometime